Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Cutting Edge Figure Skating Podcast. My name is Kim Dunaway, and in this episode, I will be covering the women's event at the 2024 U.S. Figure Skating Championships. This was the first event to be completed, and it just sort of set the trend of the best skaters in the competition not doing their best. It really, I think the theme of this nationals was chaos, just a lot of chaos in the first three disciplines especially, but this one definitely was an interesting one. So let's get into the results. Winner here was Amber Glenn, winning her first national title 10 years after she won her juniors title. And she said after the fact that when she won juniors, she felt like the weight of the world was sort of placed on her shoulders, and she's fought for so many years just trying to live up to that. And she's kind of at a place now where she feels confident and like she's at the best that she's been in her career. And I think we would all agree with that. I mean, so much of the sentiment going into the women's event was, this is Amber's year. If it's ever Amber's year, is she gonna be able to do it? And she did win here, maybe not the way that she had envisioned it in her mind, but a win is a win. And Amber Glenn is national champion. In the short program, she came out and did fantastic. She had a little bit of extra glitter on her outfit than what she's had throughout the season, but her short program was as good as it was at Skate America. And she scored, national scoring of just under 75 points here. I think internationally that what she got at Skate America, which was like a 71, 72, is probably about what Amber would get with a clean short program like this internationally. But I hope that it gives her confidence going into Worlds, because we all know what Amber is capable of, but it just doesn't always transpire. And so she was in second place after the short program. You could have made a great argument that she should have been first, and I would agree with that argument. However, I felt like it was probably better for her to go into the free skate not skating last. And I saw a lot of people that had that very same opinion. For someone that gets in their head very, very easily, waiting to go last, it just gives them even more time for them to overthink, hear the scores of the people that just went in front of you. And so it felt like her going before Isabeau would be better for her. She wouldn't have to worry about what Isabeau did. It probably could put pressure on Isabeau hearing a big number from Amber. And Amber had higher base value than Isabeau. So if Amber was going to go out and skate clean, there was really no way for Isabeau to be able to pass her. And so that, I felt like, and a lot of other people felt the same way, was going to be better for Amber going into her free skate. So she had been nailing her triple axel all week. It was very much like it had been at Skate America. I was of the opinion, and I said so after Grand Prix Espa, I said so in my Challenger recap, she didn't need the triple axel here to beat Isabeau. 2 clean programs would have beaten Isabeau. And it's not that she can't do the triple axel, because we all know that she can. She's done it multiple times this season. It's just that it seems to become a distraction when she does it, because that happened at Skate America, and it also happened at Golden Spin. So here in the free skate, she starts off right off the bat, nails the triple axel. I know I saw some people say they felt like it was under, or at least on the quarter. It did not get a call. Probably maybe a little bit tighter than what it's been at other times this season, but ultimately it was a clean jump for her. She goes, nails the combo and her next jumping pass as well. And we're kind of in that same place that we were at Golden Spin and Skate America. Like, what is she going to do in the second half of her program? And she once again doubled the Lutz, and it was like, no worries, don't panic, like, get back on track. And she comes back and nails that triple loop, which, to her defense, she hasn't done. At Skate America and at Golden Spin, all 3 of the jumps in the second half of her program were either popped into a single or doubled. So she did get a triple off there. She goes and does a triple flip and singles the flip. So it was like, here we are, we're in that same place, just again for her. But again, in her defense, it was a little bit improved because it was just 2 of the jumps that she fell apart on and not all 3 of them. And at Skate America, she also had a bit of a scratchy landing on the triple Salchow before the second half of her program. And she had 2 falls in the second half instead of pops and singles like she had done at Golden Spin. So this was by far and away the best effort of the free skates that she has done where she has landed the triple axel. It was just so disappointing because you were hoping for a clean skate and you were hoping to see that she wasn't going to make these same mistakes in the second half. That being said, she still got 135 points, which at the time was second in the free skate and ended up being second in the free skate. But it was still a pretty big number. And her and Isabeau were in a virtual dead heat going into the free skate. So it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination out of the realm of possibility that she would still win here. Isabeau still needed to go out and skate well. And obviously that didn't happen. And we'll talk about that when I get to Isabeau. But I know that this isn't the way that she wanted to win. And it's just kind of like all the emotions, right? You've got the high of that first half of the program where she just nailed everything. You have the disappointment of the second half. And then you have like that anxiety of waiting. Like it's probably not enough. Like, oh, the missed opportunity. And then all of a sudden the elation of, oh, I did just win my first national title. And so fantastic for her. I know she makes a lot of people nervous. I really expected to see a lot more excitement for Amber winning. And there was. I think there was a ton of excitement and a lot of people really happy for her. But I felt like there was still quite a bit of people who didn't feel like she should be selected for the world team because they felt like she's just too inconsistent. And I'm like, so you want to replace a inconsistent skater with an even more inconsistent skater? That doesn't make any sense to me. Amber has by far and away the best scoring potential of any of the American ladies. And next to Isabeau, she has been the most consistent American lady over the past couple of seasons, especially since Brady Tennell was injured and not here. So, and I've never can think of a time where the U.S. has not sent their national champion when they're age eligible. So it was no surprise to me that, of course, she's on the world team. And the question now becomes, what happens at Worlds? She wants to get 3 spots back. I think they would both have to skate very well for that to happen. And I would love to see it happen. I mean, we know that Amber can get on the world podium if she skated clean. It's just, this is now the 3rd time that this has happened. You know, is the 4th time the charm? I don't know. Sometimes nationals is a bigger pressure cooker than other international competitions are. So it could be that she gets to Worlds and she's more settled there than she was here. Who knows? But she is national champion. And perhaps this gives her that extra bit of confidence to do this free skate even better at Worlds. I loved the reaction when she won. I loved the reaction from her coach when she won. That is up on Instagram on NBC Olympics and US Figure Skatings. If you have not seen that, depending upon what feed that you were watching, you may have not gotten a chance to see her reaction. And that was really great. All right, moving on to the second place finisher here, and that was Josephine Lee. Josephine had a great free skate last year at Nationals and just had a really rough short program. And so she was really focused on having a strong short program here, and she definitely did. Clean skate, no under rotation. She skated a little bit early, and that probably affected her scores just a tad. So even with the clean skate, she was in 5th place going into the free skate. And she had the free skate of the night. She just has really nice jumps. You can tell that she's gotten taller. I love like her step sequences. There's just so much joy in them. And she almost got 140 points. She was just shy of 139 points in her free skate. She does this triple flip, double axel combination in the second half of her program, which is what Ava Marie Ziegler does to start off her free skate. Got a lot of points for her, but doing it in the second half of the program here, Josephine got 14 points on that combination. So I think you're going to just continue to see a lot of really creative combinations using those two double axles. It's kind of like the new, I won't say it's the new, we don't see it a lot, but it could be the new like double axle triple toe combination that we were seeing a lot of people do in the last Olympic cycle, because it does really rack up a lot of points. Now, she didn't get a lot of height on those couple of double axles that she did, so she didn't get a ton of GOE, but still, just absolutely huge points for her in that program. She won the free skate. She got 7 out of 9 of the judges' first place marks, and deservedly so. A lot of people ask, well, why not send her to Worlds? Well, she is only 15. She'll be 16 next month, and that new rule is in place. So we were all pretty big supporters of raising the age in women's figure skating for them to compete at Worlds and at Olympics, largely because of the Russians. The Russians aren't here, but it does affect some of the skaters that are still in the ranks now, and Josephine is one of them. So she will not be age eligible to compete at the senior level until the Olympic season. So hopefully for her, I'm sure that she'll get a spot at Junior Worlds. She was at Junior Worlds last year and she only finished 19th. So I think that affected her getting some Junior Grand Prix assignments. So she was only at 1 Junior Grand Prix this season and she was 8th. So she has not had the success in juniors that you would like to see out of her, but she certainly has had the success at the senior level. So really fantastic outing for her, and getting a silver medal here and getting a big upset over our third place finisher, which was Isabeau Levito. So coming into nationals, there's a press call with members of the press and with Isabeau and with Ilia. And so during the press call with Isabeau, Ashley Wagner just gushed over Isabeau's short program. And Isabeau says, yeah, it's been fun to perform this short program this season, and I look forward to continue to perform it in the future. And we try to pick music that's different every year so that I could get sort of comfortable with the different genre and sort of expand my capabilities. She said absolutely nothing about the fact that she had changed her short program. And she's not obligated to by any stretch of the imagination. I just thought that was weird. So when they played Nella Fantasia the first day of practices, she wasn't there. I thought it was strange, but it just didn't register at the time until she did it a couple of days later. And it was like, oh, so she's changed her short program. Interesting. I'm not surprised because I felt like her team wasn't happy with the scores that she got with the snake program in the fall. And it was a very difficult program, a lot of very intricate transitions. And obviously, if you listen to the podcast, you know I was a huge fan of that program. And you better believe it's probably still going to be on my top 10s list for the ladies at the end of the season. But it was difficult. And I don't feel like they were happy with the marks that she was getting. I don't think they felt like she was getting credit for all of the difficulty that it contained. Now, to be fair to the judges, there have been little issues with her spins a lot of the season. And I also think that she's getting penalized a bit internationally for her jump technique. And so I don't think it was the fault of the program so much. But ultimately, she said after her press conference at her short program here that she just decided that she wanted to do something a little bit more in her wheelhouse. And which this is, it's very much in her wheelhouse. It's boring in comparison to the snake program, but if she feels more confident in it, then obviously that's what's most important. And I also wonder how much the disaster at the Grand Prix final in the short program factored into them deciding to go and change it as well. So it was debuted here. She'll probably be more comfortable with it at Worlds. Beautiful dress that she has for this. A lot of people hated the snake dress, and I agree it wasn't the best. I did like the snake on the hand, but this is definitely a really pretty outfit for her. And she was very strong in her elements in the short program, with the exception of that final spin. So she just kind of fell out of it, so she didn't get her last feature to get a level 4 on that spin. She did get just barely positive GOE. Only 2 of the judges gave her negative GOE. A few of them gave her 0. I thought they all should have given her at least a -1 for bailing on your spin like that. So I think that's where a lot of people were confused as to how she was first over Amber in the short program. But, you know, she was docked a level probably not docked enough GOE. She didn't get a ton of points on that spin. So it was a factor. I mean, if she had done it well, she probably would have gotten 77, close to 78 on that in that program, and would have put a little bit more distance between her and Amber, because going into the free skate, it was zero point 0.4 points between the two of them. It was virtually a dead heat. So in the free skate, the door was wide open for Isabeau due to the mistakes that Amber had made in her free skate. And just right off the bat, on that first combination, Isabeau landed her triple Lutz and then fell on her triple toe. Now, she didn't fall on her Lutz, so it wasn't as costly an error as it would have been had that been the case. Falling on the triple toe means she still got full credit for the Lutz, and then she just loses half of the credit for the triple toe. So that combination ended up being worth 7.5 points, basically, 7.49. And so it wasn't a complete disaster like what happened to her at Worlds when she fell on that element and then lost a huge chunk of base value. So the other tough spot that for her this year has been her Lutz Euler triple Salchow combo that she does in the second half of her program. And she did it well here. So I thought, okay, she's good at this point. Like she made the first mistake, but it's probably going to be enough to beat Amber. And then she fell on her triple flip. And it was like, okay, she's not winning now, because she could not afford to have two falls. She could probably afford the first mistake and be okay, but she could not afford a second. And then she also fell on her next jump, which was her triple loop. She also got a cue call on that element as well. So it wasn't all the way around. And so 3 falls for the reigning national champion, and she ended up third overall, falling from first to third. She was 4th in the free skate, and she was devastated, just absolutely devastated. It was like she pulled herself together for the scores, and as soon as she heard 125, she was just like devastated all over again. So it was super sweet to see Amber sort of, consoling her and hugging her after the fact. And you just felt really, really bad for her. The Columbus crowd was super encouraging for her after the fact. And you don't want to see anybody lose that way. Like, you want to see Amber go out and skate clean and win that way, and not win because Isabeau basically fell apart in the second half of that program. So, and again, then people are like, well, maybe Isabeau shouldn't go to Worlds because she's had 2 competitions where she hasn't had great outings. And I'm like, still, just absolutely ridiculous, because Isabeau has the best track record of any of the American ladies the last 2 years. Like, yes, her short program at Grand Prix Final wasn't great. Yes, her free skate here wasn't great. She's still by far and away the best hope for an American lady to podium at Worlds. Even with the difficulty that Amber has, Isabeau has been more consistent. Now, what has happened the last 2 outings, I don't know. And I hope it's not a sign of things to come. I hope that she's able to sort of get things back on track at Worlds. But she was able to podium here. Everybody's going to have a bad day. I'm reminded of the 1997 national championships, where Tara Lipinski won her one and only national title. And Michelle Kwan, if I remember correctly, fell twice in her free skate and had just a really rough skate after having a really brilliant season and a half. And sometimes it just happens. Like, sometimes it's just not your day. And so hopefully she chalks it up to a fluke and not a sign of things to come. There's been no indication that she's injured. I know that that's been a concern of people because of some of the difficulty that she's had on some of her spins. She also got a level 2 on one of her spins in her free skate. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Skaters are almost never like 100%, but she certainly hasn't divulged that information. So we'll see what happens going forward. Her and Amber are headed to Worlds to try to reclaim 3 spots. If they don't get it, they don't get it. I think after those 2, I mean, you would love to have a 3rd spot, but once you get to the World and you get with 2 other Belgian ladies who are very strong and 3 Japanese ladies and at least 2 Korean ladies, like it's going to be tough, but I would certainly love to see them skate well. I'm much, much less concerned about trying to get a 3rd spot back. 4th place here was Sarah Everhart, and I think that she was probably, I don't know who between her and Josephine was the bigger revelation here. Josephine at least has been here before. Sarah just really had two unflappable performances from her in the short program. Very strong, clean jumps. She doesn't have the most difficult technical content in her short program. She does a triple toe, and a Lutz in her second half. And so she doesn't have like a Lutz or a flip triple toe, but clean, and you're going to be in the mix. And then in the free skate, she finished third in the free skate. Just again, very, very clean skate. Got level fours on everything except for her step sequence. The crowd really loved her. She is coached by Ilya Malinin's parents, interestingly enough. So, yeah, great nationals for her, and we'll see what she looks like going forward from here. Fifth place was Claire Saw, and I thought this was the best that we have seen her in some time. She got the spot at Skate America, surprisingly to me, and unfortunately for her, didn't have a great outing there. Much stronger here in that she was in the top 3 after the short program. Thought it was pretty impossible for her to stay there, honestly, and she did have a rough second half of her free skate with the under calls. So she got a cue call on her flip in the free skate, got a cue call on her triple toe and her double axel triple toe combo, and then she also got cue on her triple Lutz in the second half, and she only got a level 2 on one of her spins and only a level 3 on her step sequences. So a lot of points left on the table, but I think that this was a huge step in the right direction for her because she was really strong in juniors, and she is another one that, you know, puberty is just not kind to all of the ladies, and it takes some time for them to sort of get not just their jumps back, but I feel like just get their confidence back as well. And so this might be enough for her to get some more international assignments next season. She's a lovely skater. I liked both of her programs. In sixth place here was Star Andrews. And boy, this short program, I just love. Like, it was okay at her Grand Prix. I really liked it when I saw it debuted at like some kind of domestic competition like Boston Open or something like that. But it was underwhelming, I felt like, at the Grand Prix just because of mistakes. And even though she came out and fell on that opening triple toe, here the rest of the program was just so fantastic and just performs just to a high level than what we've seen pretty much anybody else here. She was fourth in PCS and deservedly so. Sonia Hilmer are two competitors. I wish there was more of a show circuit for them because they could do so much after their competitive careers are over. It's unfortunate that she fell on the triple toe, because that put her way down in the standings. Ninth, she was going into the free skate. But she did get the combo off in the second half on that triple loop. And so not everybody at times is able to be able to get the combo off. And I love the program, but just loved her performance here even more. In the free skate, much stronger performance from her. She landed her triple flip double axel combo. It wasn't fantastic, but it was landed. She did fall on her second triple flip, but 125 points here in her free skate for her was, about to the top of what you're going to see Star be able to do. I mean, if she had paired this with a stronger short program, she'd be right where she was last year, where she was fourth place at last year's championships. And I think that that's probably the top of what you're going to see her do without some more technical difficulties somewhere. So she's done this triple toe combination in her short program for some time with the triple loop, because those are stronger jumps for her. And that's fine, I think, in the short. But in the free skate, they've got to find a way to get more points somewhere. And so they're definitely trying with the triple flip double axel and a second triple flip, doing it early. They don't do a triple toe combination in her free skate. I don't know why. I think she does just like a solo double axel. I think that's a place that, she could, I don't know. I just think that they could be a little bit more. I think that they're being fairly creative with her jump content, and you don't want to put her jump content to a point where she can't be successful with it. And she did used to do a triple Lutz, because Star at one point was trying triple axels in programs. So I don't know what the issue is with that particular jump. I don't feel like either nobody's really asked her or we haven't gotten a good answer. But they've got to do something to up the technical content if she's going to want to ever medal at nationals. But of course, first and foremost, she's got to be clean with the content that she has, and she just wasn't here, even though she was a joy to watch. Seventh place here was Lindsey Thorngren, and just unfortunately for her, she has been injured, and I think she's only been skating for about a week or so, and so just bad timing for her. She has not withdrawn for four continents, so despite the injury, apparently she is headed to China to compete in that event. In her short program, she really did well and then just popped her axel into a single. And going into it, Adam was just giving her all the kudos about all of her transitions going into her double axel, and then she popped it. So that put her in fourth instead of at the top, but she still was definitely in striking distance of the podium still. But the free skate just did not go well for her, just kind of right off the top. Had some problems with the Lutz toe combo, ended up with Qs on both of those two jumps. Didn't single the flip, but didn't get it fully around, and then ultimately ended up with a full downgrade on her triple flip. Just an axle, not even a full axle, not even a single axle later in the program. She did get it together late, but again, just a lot of Q calls, and it looked like what we've been seeing from Lindsey in seasons prior to this. I thought she made a lot of strides this season during the Grand Prix at really getting those jumps all the way around, and I felt like we were back to that again. I think that's 100% due to the injuries that she's been dealing with, and unfortunate for her, she's just kind of right back in sort of the same area of, seventh place, sixth place the previous couple of years, I believe. So just not her time yet again. Hopefully next season will be a little bit better, and maybe even this weekend at Four Continents will be a little bit better for her as well. Eighth place here was Mia Kalin, and kudos to her. She came out in the free skate and landed a clean quad toe, which they said on the broadcast was the first quad at nationals. It was not. That was Alyssa Liu with an under-rotated quad Lutz from 2021, I believe, was the season that she landed that, and won her second national title. But outside of that, wasn't a lot else in this program really going on. One of the judges had her 18th, I believe, in PCS in presentation skills, which frankly I thought was kind of fair. I mean, she was 11th in PCS overall, but if you look at some of the judges, 15th, 14th, 16th, and there just wasn't a lot to this program, really at all. And then once she did the quad toe, she had two quads planned. So I think the second one was a quad Salchow planned. So she ended up doing just a triple, and then she did a double axle after it, which was weird because she had two other double axles later in her program. So when she got to this triple flip double axle sequence, well, the double axle doesn't count because that's now your third double axle, and she ends up getting 30% lower base value on the triple flip. So just not smart jump math. And then she fell on her second triple flip as well. So exciting for the triple toe, for the quad toe, but the rest of the program to me was pretty lackluster. Her costume looked very, very similar to Kamila Valieva's Bolero costume, which was a choice. So a lot of work that they need to do with her program components. For sure. Ninth place here was Audrey Shin, and she has had, a very up and down season. She also had an issue right off the top with her triple toe combo. She only got the first triple toe off, just didn't feel confident enough to get the second triple toe off. So she did get her combo on her triple loop, but obviously lost a lot of points in base value. So she found herself in seventh place going into the free skate. Her free skate, again, just right off the top, wonky with the Lutz, fell on that second triple toe and her triple toe combo in the free skate. I probably should have done the same thing she did in the short program. The first triple toe, not super confident, tried to get the triple toe off here and it just didn't work. got an undercall on her triple flip and popped her loop later in the program. Now, her last two jumping passes were done very well, so she did get things back on track. But I know she was very, very bummed to, sort of end up kind of in the same place again at nationals. So she posted a very lengthy post on Instagram, and I will read it after the event. After my 8th time at my U.S. Nationals Championships, I was watching the men's, pairs, and ice dance events with some of my teammates, reflecting on my skating journey. When I was very young, I didn't have much fear, but after some good competitions in the past, much more pressure emerged, especially after my right inner ankle surgery to remove a small ball-sized ganglion cyst 2 years ago. I tried to recover well, doing exercises to become stronger. A few years later, in the same leg, my fibula bone area caused a stress reaction, interrupting my training since last year. I was very careful and tried not to use pain medication unless it hurts a lot, opting to heal naturally. On-ice training was limited, but I did recovery exercises off the ice properly. However, when important competitions approached, I had to train more to prepare for these events. I read some posts that Amber wrote, and they resonated with me. No one knows what I'm going through, and even as a very petite woman, my body keeps changing. I try to strictly adhere to a healthy diet, but at some point I would restrict myself too much, causing injuries, anxiety, and depression. After talking to a sports mental health professional last month, I've been reflecting on my career and rediscovering my love for the sport. Regardless of what others say, whether it's about my peak time being a few years ago or issues with under rotation that can't be fixed, it's not helpful and can undermine my confidence. Yes, I'm not perfect at this moment, but I will continue to fight. I'm grateful for the people that helped lift me up always. It was a bittersweet nationals and a somewhat disappointing season for me this year as well as last season, but now I understand more about where I am. I will take care of the big scar tissues that haven't completely healed, which I recently discovered, and I'm doing more recovery exercises now, plus talking to people who can help. I will continue fighting for the sport I love and have been doing for 13 years now. There are some exciting things I can't wait to try and hopefully do well in. I'm so happy for Amber for finally becoming national champion in her senior career. It's been so motivating training with her. Please be kind to all skaters who have worked so hard to achieve their dreams and goals. Let's spread love, not hate, through the sport that I cherish so much. Fight on. So, obviously, very proud of her for reaching out to a mental health professional. Not sure what support U.S. figure skating offers her skaters. And I feel like you're starting to see just like a general pattern amongst some of the skaters in general. And I do wonder if Audrey is not somebody that might benefit from a coaching change. I just don't know how great the training environment is with Tammy Gamble, just kind of based on some comments that Young Yu said now that she has changed coaches. But I don't know, maybe Amber coming in has helped. It definitely, I know Tammy Gamble is listed as one of Amber's coaches, but it definitely seems like she works more with Damon Allen. But Audrey is somebody I feel like she's been with Tammy Gamble for a while. Maybe somebody like Jeremy Abbott, might help uplift her a little bit more. But I'm super proud of her for coming forward about some of the things that she mentioned there in her Instagram post and some of the challenges that she's been having both physically and mentally and emotionally. And I think that for skaters that really struggle at times with the technical aspect of the sport, I wish they would lean into the artistic side a little bit more, because most of the American women skaters have beautiful spins and spirals, and they could really lean into the footwork more and really tell more of a story and really work on that second mark, like take more of a Jason Brown approach. And even though I just went on this whole thing about how Star should increase her technical ability to sort of advance her, but every skater's case is different, right? And I feel like for somebody like Audrey, that PCS, that second mark, is something that she could really develop, where maybe the technical side might come back, it might not. But I think that she could offer a whole lot there in that side and be able to tell some of her own personal story, like on the ice. And I think that would be really powerful. All right. In 10th place here was Elise Lynn Gracie, and she had a successful season on the Junior Grand Prix, a second place finish and a fourth place finish. I think I saw a lot of high expectations, a lot of people picking her pretty high. I didn't have quite that same confidence. And unfortunately for her, it was not probably the nationals that she would have wanted. Her short program wasn't terrible, but she did not get her triple flip, triple toe off at the beginning of her program. So had a problem with the triple flip and then just She did tack on a double toe to a triple Lutz, but I don't think a Lutz triple toe is really part of her current arsenal. And so that put her way down in the standings in 11th. And then in the free skate, just had a fall on her toe in her Lutz toe combo right off the top. I just said that she probably doesn't have a Lutz toe, and then here she does do it for the Lutz toe in the free skate. Obviously not successfully, and then also had some issues in the second half of her program as well. She was another one that did too many double axels. So unfortunate for her, but I mean, a top team finish at your first senior nationals, I think, is a good thing, and you sort of get the nerves out. And so I think she should be proud of the performance that she did here. Other notables that I will mention is in 12th place, Sonia Hilmer, who has probably the two best composed programs of the whole event. Love her Matrix short program and love the Avatar Last Airbender free skate as well. I hear her exhibition was also just a real banger. Unfortunately, they didn't put that on Peacock, so maybe I'll see it. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But another just really fantastic outing for her in the sense of just artistically. No, she's not there technically, but she's just it's just a fantastic performer. I really enjoy watching her, and she has got a career as a choreographer after the fact, no doubt about it. She's so talented in that arena. All right, so that is the ladies event and everybody that I'll talk about here. So I think my Pamchenko award has to go to Josephine Lee for that free skate. So strong. The biggest moment of the event, I felt like, was her free skate. Certainly in the free skate for sure. I mean, Amber and Isabeau both had great moments in the short program, but definitely Josephine Lee's free skate will get the Pamchenko award for me. All right, so going to Four Continents, Amber did withdraw from Four Continents, and I think smartly so, to focus on Worlds. And so she will be replaced by Elise Lynn Gracie, and she will join Ava Marie Ziegler and Lindsay Thorgren at Four Continents later this week. So just to underscore just sort of one more thing about the World team, I feel like, and this analogy may not resonate with everybody because I'm a football fan also, and so I have seen like so many people go, well, what if Ava knocks it out of the park at Four Continents? Are they going to regret putting these two ladies on the team? Like, shouldn't they just wait till Four Continents to name the team? And I feel like people have this feeling about Ava Marie, almost like football fans have about their backup quarterback. It's like in their mind, they have like created this narrative where if the backup quarterback came in, that would somehow save the day because they could do better than the starter. And it's like, there's a reason that the starter is in the game, right? Because they give you the best chance to win. And so Ava Marie could knock it out of the park at Four Continents, and she could also end up 12th. Like, we don't know. And she's more inconsistent than the other two ladies are. I feel very strongly, and I've been banging the drum, and perhaps, I've heard Ava may be battling some type of an injury. And so perhaps another week was going to give her more time. I don't know. I just still do not understand why you would skip out on nationals if your goal was to make the world team. If her goal wasn't to make the world team, okay, but I still don't understand why you would skip out on nationals. And if they were rolling the dice, hoping that, Amber, Isabeau didn't have great skates and that they would wait, well, obviously that didn't turn out very well. So I still don't understand that decision. I don't know if she'll elaborate on it anymore at Four Continents. If she does, I will definitely talk about it in my Four Continents recap for the women next week. But just wanted to throw that out there again, that I'm still befuddled as to why she skipped nationals. But oh well. Interesting event. Yeah. This is where the chaos began. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast and interacting with me on all the social media platforms as you have. Some of you I know went to nationals, and I loved seeing your pictures and hearing your stories about how great the crowd was there. You can find me on all the socials at Ice Skate Podcast. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast already, please do so you can get all of them into your podcatcher. And I'll be back with the men's recap. And until then, you guys have a great rest of your week.